justice.
Hey Austin, what's the proclamation line of 1763?
My time has come. Well, after the French and Indian War, the British had gained a lot of land. So the British had gained all the land of Canada and the land left of the Mississippi River. Colonists were eager to settle in this newfound land. Private land companies were excited too, as they could diversify their holdings outside the tobacco market. Remember that French and Indian War? Well, natives were still pretty mad, and with these British colonists settling in their land, it made tensions worse.
Well, fights, kerfuffles.
Kerfuffles were starting to break out, and the colonists and private land companies were pressing British officials to do something about it. They dispatched soldiers to halt all settlement to prevent war with natives. Many eager colonists and land speculators ignored these directives, and the military was pretty lazy. They were unwilling to forcibly remove settlers from their lands. More and more settlers came and ignored the military commands. Indians became very mad. It was their land after all.
That's my land.
Next, Native Americans like the Ottawa attacked British forts, catching soldiers off guard and seizing the forts, only sparing Fort Detroit and Fort Pitt.
You sure know a lot about this.
Don't interrupt me. British officials were swift to make changes. They set up an action plan. This included the establishment of an Indian Reserve and the introduction of the Proclamation Line of 1763. You would think people would be happy that their government was doing something to protect them, but many colonists and companies invested a lot in the land. A lot of colonists ignored this proclamation, directly disobeying the crown. They were kind of stupid.
You said stupid.
This proclamation created Quebec, West Florida, and East Florida provinces. And remember, the Indian Reservation for the Native Americans was also introduced. This led to the Quebec Act restoring French civil laws in Quebec province and allowed Catholics to hold office. These new land changes angered colonists now that their land has been given away and divided. Well, Charlie, that's pretty much all of it.
Thanks, Austin. I'll just need to remember that the proclamation line of 1763 was an official declaration prohibiting the continuation of Western settlement of colonists and land companies to avoid war.